was good? YouTube was good. Welcome into Last Word Productions podcast. I believe this episode, if I'm not mistaken, episode 12. But we joined in today with some more of my boys, as we is every week, either Thursday or Friday, 7:30, 8:30 time, whichever. Tell the people how y'all boys feeling tonight.
Yo.
Yeah, y'all
I
some
got 53
news.
million. I got 53 million reasons why I'm in a bad mood.
Hey man, I can't never live, boy. What's going on with you, Real?
Man, chilling, bro, man. I got one reason why I'm in a garbage mood.
Garbage.
Garbage. Number one.
I mean, hey, let's jump right into it then, man. Since that's what we all alluding to. You feel me? Let's go ahead and jump straight into that. So as we all know, Tua Tagovailoa today inked his extension after several months of negotiating with the Dolphins. It's been, I believe, 3 months since the season ended. Since negotiations was going on. And it was a standstill. It went as far as him having a semi-sit-in the first day of training camp. Then it went from him fully having to sit in, didn't take any reps today. And then today he fully participated. And when I seen, I was like, a deal had to get done, bro. Because there ain't no way he just one day, you feel me, he gonna sit out technically, and then the next day be a full participant. I'm like, they must have gave this nigga the money. And lo and behold, this man Larry texted me the contract. I looked up the guarantees. He had 167 million guaranteed, and it's a 4-year contract worth $212.4 million. That is the largest 4-year extension in NFL history, and it is the largest contract in Miami Dolphins history. Just in case if you all didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all that being said, let's start with the man himself, Larry. What's your thoughts on the contract, man? What does it mean for the team moving forward?
Hey man, like I told you earlier, yeah, this is for the chat out there. I gave it a C plus because I didn't necessarily like, as I said, the past 13 episodes, I didn't like the idea of giving this man a deal. And you got some outsiders out there that say he deserves it. But but I honestly feel like he's one of the pieces we could have moved on from and used that money elsewhere. But the fact that it is a 4-year deal, I don't think it's I don't believe it's a fully guaranteed 4-year deal. Don't quote me on that though. So I think it's a team option that, like, after 3 years, we got to roll the punches now. And familiarity is better than starting anew or starting with a rookie. So that's the pro I give to that. He's familiar with the offense. He's coming back to an offense that he's been around for 3 years. It's not like he's getting paid the max money or the most money out of all quarterbacks, but the fact that we did ink a deal and we'll be having basically the full team participating is a good sign to me. So that's why I give it like a C plus. I don't want to give it an average grade or a low grade because I do feel like he can win in this system. He can make some things happen with this system because, again, this is the offense he's familiar with. It's the offense that he's used to since he's been in college. So it's just, let's see where the ball roll now.
All right. What say you, Real?
I already had my grade set up earlier around 3 o'clock when we found out. But I'm gonna look at it in a different way because at the end of the day, I'm a ride as a Dolphin, and I'm gonna go with a B minus.
Okay.
I don't want to give it a too high of a grade, and too low of a grade. So I'm gonna go with a B minus. I did say at first a C. I went a little lower than Larry. I said a C. But I'm gonna go B minus. And that's because, like Larry said at the end, he hit a good key point. You got to be a little bit more optimistic in anything. And then also, all the guys was backing them up and said you might as well get the deal done. They deserve it. And that put my mind in a little bit different perspective. So yeah, and like I seen another stat where he had he's the only quarterback in the last 2 years to have 50 touchdowns. Jesus Christ. Wow. 50 touchdowns. I forgot what it all was, but 50 touchdowns, 100 quarterback rating, and I forgot what the last stat was, but he was like the only quarterback in the last 2 years to do that. But yeah, that, and he knows the system. I just feel like he just has to stay healthy, run a lot more this year, and spread the ball. So yeah, I'll just, like I said, I'll go with that B minus and be a lot more optimistic than I was before.
Okay. I'm be honest with you. My grade lower than you and Larry's. I'm giving it a C minus. And the reason I do that is because I said this earlier. I've been saying this throughout the podcast since it started us, since we started this Dolphin podcast. Long story short, man, I'm not a believer in paying a quarterback strictly because they play the quarterback position. I don't believe that. I believe if you're paying the guy 50 plus annually, he needs to produce results. But he should, and really worried that he should have produced results before he inks that deal. I shouldn't have to be giving you a contract that's rivaling some of the greatest players in the league we have right now when you have done squat to be in comparison to them. And I understand he led the league in receiving yards. He led the league in QBR rating of 1 point, whichever the stat may be. He has a pretty good TDINT ratio, even though it got worse this season. But that's another story for another day. At the end of the day, man, you got to call a spade a spade. He looked pedestrian against the better teams. I said all the numbers I needed to say about that. I said all the stats. The touchdowns went down, interceptions went up, yards went down, QBR rating, everything went down. When you needed him to step up the most, he was his worst. That's a fact. That's not me just trying to be a Tua hater, whatever the case may be, like people like to call him. That's a literal fact. And then you top that off with the fact that he's never won his division. He's never won a postseason game. He's only played in the playoffs one time. Like this isn't a quarterback that should have been, for one, inking a deal that was north of anything 50 million. On top of that, getting anything more than 120 million in guaranteed money. He got a 167 million. That I just had this conversation with Larry earlier. That is almost as much guaranteed, if not the same amount guaranteed money annually as what Joe Burrow is getting. And listen, all respect to Tua. He seemed like a great dude. Everybody always boasts about the person. The football player ain't good enough. Point blank, period. And I get the numbers, I get the stats, but at the end of the day, is it good enough? That is the question. And the simple answer is no. We don't gotta overcomplicate nothing. It's no. So I'm just not a believer in this having to be done right away. I knew it was going to be done because of the market and because of how the NFL is now. Guys never play on their final years of deals and things of that nature. So I already knew this was going to be the case. But a guy who's never been healthy throughout his football career, even back to high school, a guy who's never been, the difference maker on a team outside of maybe 1 year with Bama. This isn't a deal that you give running the mill just outside the top 10 or maybe borderline top 10 quarterbacks to me. That's just me personally. That's my personal opinion. So I give it a C, man. I think it's a C.
Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know what. I know what the front office is thinking. I kind of feel like I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think they kind of got bullied into giving him this contract, bro. And it sucks, but you gotta push through, unfortunately, man. Because at the end of the day, what's done is done. The deal done. We can't go back. The cap hit is gonna be ridiculous. So we locked in. I really want to see what's the future gonna look like for Tyreek Hill, Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips.
Oh, we gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. That's the next.
Yeah,
That's the next topic. That's the next
I want
topic.
to see what's going on with them. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and take off.
We're gonna get into that. So now I'm glad you started that, so you can go ahead and finish your point, bro. And the question is, what does that leave for the rest of the team? Because I want to break this down for everyone. Hold on, let me pull up the numbers because I looked this up earlier. So if we're going off the cap hit now, what his contract will be next season, right? This is if the cap does not go up like it's projected to go up. Tua will account for 28.8% of the cap. But if it was to go up, he'll account for 18.6% of the cap. So
you hear that
regardless of how you look at it, he's taking a huge chunk out of, you feel me, what you got.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is to y'all boys is, what does that leave, like you just said, what does that leave the others? Because we just seen the offseason where guys they walked. You get what I'm saying? Like Christian Wilkins, Brandon Jones, AVG, Robert Hunt, whoever else we want to name. A lot of guys walked for the sake of, you feel me, prioritizing other players. And Tua seemed to be the other player at this point. So Larry, I'm gonna ask you first since you started the topic. Where does that lead everyone else?
As much as it scares me, I think that's why we went 2 defensive ends in the draft, man. Yeah, and that's about to be some odd men out. I know we kind of attacked the offensive line position a lot. So my biggest hope and the thing I'm really looking out for is that Teron Armstead plays out either his contract or just decides to let hang the cleats up, you know, and to free up a bit more money that we could, even if we don't go completely under the cap or fall just above it, we at least sign one of the marquee guys that we have coming up contract wise, you know. Javon Harlan, I know he's going to be asking for a good little piece of money. I know Jalen Phillips going to be looking for a good piece of money. So I know that a lot of money is going to have to free up pretty fast, you know. And then on top of all that, I'm naming guys like them. Tyreek Hill just said this offseason he's looking for an extension or a restructuring of his contract. So there's going to be some unfortunate odd men out. And that's why I feel like they went the defensive end route in the draft with some young talent. So it's looking like either Chubb or Phillips going to be having to look for a new town to play football in, unfortunately, you know. So.
Okay. What you say, Rio? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Larry said. It's gonna be the end of the world for a lot of people on the team just due to that situation alone. So we just gonna have to go all in. Honestly, gotta go all in this season. See what we could do, build around what we got, and suck it up. Pause.
I was about to say that's wild. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I thought it was a long shot that Jalen Phillips was going to get a deal because of
it's looking like it.
The not only the market, but because of what he is, what he has been, I should say, and what he is at this point. He's a guy that had injury concerns coming out of college. This was a guy that walked away from football because of injuries at one point. Got drafted as a top 15 pick. He has not lived up to that. I mean, let's not lie about it. It is what it is. And simply put, he has all of the talent and potential in the world. It's just not coming to fruition. And the issue is, now that you ink these big contracts, because you're giving out a lot of big money deals. I mean, you got Tyreek making almost 30 million, Waddle making almost 30 million, Tua making 40 million in guaranteed money alone. I mean, it's a lot of big money, bro. So somebody ain't gonna get the cut of the pie, and that just is what it is. And it's starting to look like he may be one of those guys. What's up, PSP? Appreciate it, man. But it's looking like he's starting to be one of those guys. And the problem is it's bigger than just Jalen Phillips, because is Jalen Phillips someone that's just crazy, not replaceable, someone who you can't replace? No, he can be replaced. I think if you get the best version of Chad Robinson, hopefully, I think you get a better player. Now, I don't know what that looks like at this point with Chad Robinson, but I think you can get just as good of a player at the bare minimum. Now, with that being said, I think the odd man out truly gonna be Bradley Chubb, because he's up for a big he's up for a big contract after this year, and on top of that, he's getting older. He's suffered another ACL injury. I think this is a guy that's gonna be the odd man looking in, and Javon Holland. I said this to you earlier, Larry. I mean, at some point, the talent has to reflect on the field. And one thing I cannot stand that certain people do when we talk football, people overcompensate for the talent versus what a player actually is. And what I mean by that is, it has to come a point where a guy actually produces the results versus you just believing one day it will happen. And Javon Holland is one of those players, in my opinion. He immensely talented, got all the tools in the world to be one of the best safeties in the league. He already is. I'm not saying he's not. But with the talent he is, there's no reason in any world where he isn't getting you a 5+ interception season along with 80 tackles. He's that talented. He's that good. He has that kind of potential. And it just has not happened. And it has to come a point where he starts to make these difference-making kind of plays, or difference-making kind of plays, I should say, excuse me. He's not making enough impact plays or game-winning plays, in my personal opinion. And he hasn't done it in 3 years. At some point, it has to start happening. So when you line all those things up and then you look at the deal Tua got, the Dolphins, and we all know how Chris Grier is. Larry, you said this earlier. He's a guy that does not pay his own people. This is a fact. We see it. It is what it is. You feel me? Like, this happened with Christian Wilkins. This happened with Jay Ajayi a couple years back. This happened with Reggie Bush when we got the best out of Reggie. This happened with, This happened with what my boy name? This happened with Minka when he wasn't a contract negotiation, but he was going to the coaches and telling them he had an issue with the positions he was playing, that they didn't want to hear him out. This happened with Kyle Van Noy. This happened with a multitude of players that have been brought in for this team or drafted by this team, and they just bit the curb after 4 years. So I think this is just one big another mess that Chris Grier has made, and that's a conversation we need to have this episode, because I think it's time to call this dude out for being the trash can GM he's been. I think it's time. But before we move on to the next topic or anything else anyone want to add?
Nah, we good.
Yeah, you go ahead and move on, bro.
All right, so let's get into the fraudulent GM that is Chris Grier. So with that being said, listen, I want to start this one off because I've been saying this for years, man. I've been saying this for the past 3-4 years. This dude is not the GM that people think he is. They look at the deals he gives. They're like, oh, he always makes it out, so you ain't never losing money after a certain amount of time. They don't ever mention that he's giving out bad contracts. No one ever wants to mention that he gave Shaq Lawson a bad deal. He gave Eric Flowers a bad deal. He gave Emmanuel Ogba a bad deal. He gave Kyle Van Noy a deal where he didn't even see through the end because he was at odds with the head coach. No one ever wants to talk about how Byron Jones played here 2 years and couldn't even walk. No one ever wants to talk about that. Everybody want to talk about how, oh, man, he would have got Tyreek Hill, man. He would have got Bradley Chubb, bro. Still ain't win a playoff game, but hey, fuck it. He gonna get big name dudes for $100 million contracts. So he doing something, right? Oh, he got X, Y, and Z amount of draft picks, but none of the draft picks working out. Like, you got Tua out here. We just sat here and went on a rant about how he wasn't worth the money. Noah Igbenogany was terrible the moment he touched the football field. And Austin Jackson may be a redeemable piece, but that's redeemable at best. They had to move him to a whole other position to make him look adequate. And that's 3 draft picks. That's 3 first-round draft picks in 1 round. I'm just saying, bro, at what point do we just say this dude is terrible at his job? At some point, we just can't. Is it okay for us to say that? Like, is it that cool? Like, can we not just come to terms with that?
Honestly, I some of the talent that he did bring in that unfortunately did see the door is like, it's unfortunate, man. And at some point, the GM does have to get held accountable for a lot of what the team does and the team's success or downfalls. Because you got a guy, like you said, like Mika Fitzpatrick, for example, who came in, was already producing at a high level, produced in the turnover game, scoring touchdowns against the Vikings, just did it all on the field as a rookie and a second-year player. And no matter how people feel about Brian Flores, I don't feel like that situation was on him. That was on Chris Greer. Let's tank and get the best quarterback possible. And you got people who have, these are football players at the end of the day. They don't want to go out there and just run cover 0 blitz and just give up touchdowns, give up yards, give up first downs just so they can go 0-16 and get the best players. Mika was a dog. He wanted to play. Brian Flores was a dog. He wanted to win. And when you have combating egos like that, the front office made their choice. They let go of Minka. Brian Flores got let go. Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert. Front office wanted Tua. It's just things like that. That's what makes that brings complexity and confusion to teams, especially when teams are out there trying to win playoff games, regular season games, Super Bowls. So for all that to go down, and we come into 2024 and there's still the same issues, missing players, missing draft picks, losing draft picks, tampering, giving out money to players who's either not beneficial, not deserving, or is not going to help us succeed. It is time for Chris Greer to come on to the hot seat. It's been that time for a long. When he drafted Austin Jackson, Noah Igbenogany, and who was the other one? Jalen Phillips?
Nah, Tua.
It was them 3. Tua. Those, yeah. In retrospect, for what was on the board and the talent that was there, 3 misses. Tua may be a hit or miss. That depending on how you feel, depending on your opinion on the guy. But Austin Jackson was a miss, bro. Noah Igbenogany, you got traded to the Cowboys, scored a touchdown for them, and he's not even on the roster. That is almost like, bro, who are you scouting? Are you really going to the games? Are you really listening to your scouts? Are you really putting your your eyes to clipboard and really making the right calls,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
What you say, Rio?
Yeah, he need to take his ass on the hot seat. I ain't too fond of him too much, for real. It's time. We need big time players. We need to be more aggressive. He ain't making the right decisions right now. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. He need to go.
The bigger problem with the Dolphins is the owner. Yeah, PSP, you're not wrong. We was gonna get into that too. Steven Ross.
Oh
Go
yeah, I've
ahead
been
and get
saying about him too.
Go ahead and get a team to the daughter, man. You said you was gonna do it. Go ahead and do it. Hey, the daughter might know a little more something about not giving 1,000,002 chances to the wrong people. Because I don't know what the hell Chris Greer got this man with. He blackmailed him with something. He gotta have something on him to be keeping his job this long. The same way Adam Gase must have had something on him to keep his job as long as he did, and Mike Tannenbaum. Because it makes no sense how you see something ain't working and you just refuse to address it. And I get it. A lot of these billionaires aren't football guys. Steven Ross for damn sure ain't a football guy. He's a great investor. He's done a lot for the community. The Help Baptist medical program they built outside the stadium, the casino work he's done and stuff like that. He's done a lot of charitable endorsing things for the community and the Dolphins as a program and organization. I give him that 1,000%. But the product on the field has failed miserably. And it's not going to change unless he makes major changes to himself and the people around him. So the reason why I don't like complaining about owners is because there's quite literally nothing you could do about an owner. An owner is just the owner. It is what it is. You can't go to them and demand them to sell a team. Just like you can't call for their job.
Not many people lost.
It's literally their team. So it's nothing you can really do about that. That's why I don't really like complaining about owners. That's why I tend to lean more towards the GMs and coaches, because at the end of the day, those are the guys who are directly affecting the football team. Again, these billionaires, majority of them don't have a fucking clue about football itself. Most of them just go out and hire third-party, you feel me, companies and stuff to do job searches for them to find a candidate. That's what most of these guys do. So I can't really, I get why my boy PSP said Steven Ross is the biggest issue, because he is. Don't get me wrong. But there's just nothing that can be done about Steven Ross unless he just chooses to let the team go. So it's no need. Me personally, I just don't feel like there's any need to speak on something that cannot be changed. The only owner that will not take a backseat is Jerry Jones. Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong about that, my boy. But at the end of the day, man, I can't blame Steven Ross from what is on the field. I can blame him for the people he hires, which is Chris Greer. That's why he's at fault. But I can't blame him for what people put on the field, because he's not a football savant. He's not a football guy. He's out there to hire the guy to get the ticket sales and to win games. That's it. That's as far as his knowledge goes about the game. But as far as Chris Greer goes, oh yeah, it's time, man. It's been time for 2-3 years, to be real with y'all. But for whatever reason, he's survived this long because he's, I guess, gave this team enough talent to just not be good enough. So he's lasted this long. But I don't know, man. It's frustrating, especially when you see the rest of the AFC just getting better. I mean, everybody want to talk about how Rodgers are struggling in the red zone in practice. Who gives a shit? It's practice. Man, they played a football game in over a year. It's practice. Everyone want to talk about the Bills losing Stephon Diggs and all these other dudes. They still got 2 stud tight ends. I think Keon Coleman is a damn good receiver. And they defense is still going to be their defense. They coming back healthier, too. Then you got the whole rest of the AFC. The Texans got better. The Chiefs got better after winning the fucking Super Bowl. Hell, a lot of other teams got better even around the AFC that we're not talking about for real. So it's just frustrating when you see that. and your team just seems to stay stagnant. It's I don't know, man. It's weird, man. But anything else y'all want to add in regards to the front office? Like anything else?
Nah, Steve Ross ain't going nowhere. Ain't no make no, like you said, it don't make no sense talking about him. And then it's like everyone else, just Chris Greer. Chris Greer gotta go. It just all boils down to that. Honestly, Chris Greer gotta go, or ain't gonna never see the light of day. Promise.
All right, let me ask y'all this. If Chris Greer were to be fired, right? Let's say the next GM says, I don't want the guy who was with the guy who created this dumpster fire. I need to hire my own coach. Are y'all acceptive of Mike McDaniel getting fired?
Oh, he knocked you out. Damn, that shit sprayed on my
I
hand.
honestly don't think he should.
Okay. What
Yeah,
you say, Larry?
Yeah, no, I ain't firing McDaniel.
Okay.
I ain't firing McDaniel, blood.
Okay, so y'all willing to stick with Chris Greer if it means staying with Mike McDaniel?
I ain't say all that now.
No, I'm asking because that's how usually it work in the league. Like GMs hire their own head coaches, and typically, more often than not, head coaches, you feel me, they are pieces to the general manager because they have a relationship. If there's no telling if Greer were to be fired, there's no telling what GM will come in the building. So there's a good chance Mike McDaniel can also be out the door because at the end of the day, a GM is going to want to bring in his own staff and guys because this is literally his livelihood. He gonna put the people in place who he think gives him the best product or can help him produce the best product on the field. So if you're asking me, in my opinion, listen. Sometimes you gotta, you feel me? Sometimes you gotta cut ties, man. Sometimes, a straight bullet hits an unnecessary target. And I'm not the biggest Mike McDaniel guy already, so I'm not gonna be too upset if he were to get the boot because Greer gone. So I wouldn't be too much upset about that at all, to be honest with you. And I'm not gonna sit here and say he needs to be fired immediately too, like Chris Greer, because he hasn't been terrible at his job like Chris Greer has been terrible at his job. But with that being said, if a GM was to come in here and say, listen, I can help this team get to another level, but this guy ain't gonna be a part of that. Hey, by all means, brother, go get who you got to get. It is what it is sometimes.
Hey, I feel like, especially coming from you, I know you're not the biggest Mike McDaniel fan. Like I said earlier with you on the when we was talking about the tour deal, but who do you believe is out there, free agent coaches or potential coaches that we could come in and replace him with, especially with such an offensive. Who?
Ben Johnson.
I'm sorry, who?
Ben Johnson, the OC for the Lions.
Ben Johnson?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I ain't the biggest fan, but I know he did. He got he signed with somebody that backed out because he wanted to stay with Detroit. I forgot the team. It's not coming to me right now.
It was Washington.
Washington. I mean, yeah, who the hell want to go to Washington? But
exactly.
But to be honest with you, man, is I don't want to settle, of course not, but I do also want to note that Mike McDaniel has led the Dolphins to some manner of success, especially with the revamped offense that he brought in. And I know you're not the biggest fan of him, but the facts, man. Like since we've been young, the Dolphins offense has been piss poor until he's come in and
That's
led
true.
the offense. So it's like I want to try to appreciate what he is doing for now, especially since this is his third year, going into his fourth year. I want to at least get him out. I want to get the max out of his contract at least. I don't want to just kick him to the curb because he's not no Hugh Jackson. He's not no Raheem Morris. He's not none of these guys who you could tell didn't earn their head coaching opportunity. He said he's coming here to fix a quarterback, and he technically, no matter how we feel about him, came in and kind of fixed this guy. Because when he was with Brian Flores, it ain't look like this guy was gonna do anything in the NFL. He was talking to himself in the mirror. Am I really good? Am I really like a good player? So I give him that benefit for the very least. But I can't deny that, in the next 2 years or something on shape, bro. What's going on?
Okay. You got anything you want to add, Ariel?
Yeah, no, I'm not getting rid of Mike McDaniel. Like he, like Larry said, he done brought a lot of good things to our offense since he been here. And it also is like, I'm still not used to people like saying like, oh, y'all supposed to do stuff like this. Y'all supposed to do, like, I'm not used to hearing that. And honestly speaking, and why we so hell bent and mad and so upset is the truth. We are supposed to do stuff like what we're kind of sort of doing and what we can do a lot better. The expectations are a lot higher for our offense because our offense got better because of who? The retarded vape smoker. And he not even retarded, but just saying, like that, like he's actually brought some good stuff into our program, into our organization, and we gotta be honest with it. I'm all for him.
Okay. Now the thing is, let me address the things y'all both have said. Basically, there is no denying the impact he has had on this team and the new look offense. Of course, that goes without saying. But you know who else was said to be offensive genius that made the playoffs with this team and helped produce a good offense at one point? Adam Gase did the same thing, and he got ran out of town. I'm just saying, at some point, the results have to follow the production, and they're not right now. They're just not. And I get it. It's still relatively young in his career. He's still a young coach. Certain things take time. I understand completely. But there are certain things that I said before that you should not have to learn on the job. There are just certain things you should know on the job. And one of those things are if you're in a game that is lost or won, your guys should not be in the game. And he got multiple players hurt because of his inability to do the proper thing as a head coach. Or sometimes you got to protect guys from themselves. His inability to do that as a head coach has put a lot of his players in bad predicaments. I'm just saying, at some point, this isn't just a mistake. This is just this guy might be too damn soft. It is what it is. Like I get a lot of people like him. They think he's funny, cool, whatever, young. I don't give a shit. Are you winning games? Like you had a 3-game lead on your division and lost it with 4 weeks left. Who cares? I don't care if he go up to the podium and he's funny. I genuinely don't care. I don't care if he goes and he makes a joke and make Tua feel good about himself. I genuinely don't give a shit. I don't. Are the wins being produced against the better teams, and are you winning playoff games? The answer so far, no. It's not good enough. It is what it is. It's not good enough. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the thing with Mike McDaniel that bothers me the most is that for a guy to come in and be one of these quote unquote one of these running heavy style coaches who help produce the running scheme for the 49ers that's been successful for years, for him to come in and have multiple games where he stray away from the run and essentially costs a lot of games for his own team is crazy to me. Because again, there's certain things in football that does not need to be learned. If we're gouging dudes out with the run, why the fuck are we not running the ball? The same thing in the playoffs. You've been running the ball well all season. You ran the ball at least a third of the time as you pass the ball in the game against the Chiefs. And your quarterback struggled the entire game. I get it. Tua should have played better. Absolutely. He missed a lot of time. He missed a lot of throws. I'm not denying that. But at the end of the day, if I know my guy's struggling and I know we have one of the best rushing attacks in the league, am I not going to put some of the weight off his shoulders and run the ball? I guess not. I'm just saying, man, at some point, I don't need to hear about. I know Larry said another 2 years. Nah, fuck that. I don't want to hear about another 2 years because another 2 years it still may not be good enough. What is being done to be better now? And as it stands now, this offensive line is worse. The quarterback situation, in my personal opinion, is still stagnant. I know a lot of people say he's gotten better. I just think he's finding a way to enhance what he already was good at. But hey, that's another conversation. And as far as player development, like I just spoke about it with Phillips, I spoke about it with Holland, I spoke about it with Liam Eichelberg, I spoke about it with Austin Jackson.
Whoa.
How many guys are getting better?
Y'all seen what just happened?
What happened?
Jordan Love, highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
He tied. Yeah. They say he tied. I don't know.
On mine, they say makes him highest paid.
Oh yeah,
Either or.
4 years, $220 million.
$55 million a year.
Oh, so he tied with Burrow.
4 years, $220.
That man.
Hey man. But yeah,
1.5.
that's just me.
But 2 years. 2 years, right? 2 years good and 2 years bad. Bro.
No, 2 years good, 2 years hurt.
Bad.
The season in the injury, man.
And the man played till like week 13 that rookie year. Shit was damn.
It wasn't week 13.
He played late.
No, he wasn't, bro.
But yeah, so anything else I want to add?
To the Wi-Fi. I live it.
No.
All right, so let's get into the practices. Y'all been keeping up with the practices?
I know I saw Tua, standing like somewhere with the team, wasn't really participating in practice and everything, but I ain't see nothing too crazy for real. I know they said he what's the receiver name? Malik Washington. I know they said he like him a lot.
Okay. What you was gonna say, Rio?
No, yeah, it was about the same thing. Tua with his hands on his hips on the sideline. But other than that, I didn't really see too much, honestly.
All right,
Calais Campbell. Everybody talking about his size and how it's gonna help. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I ain't really see too much first couple of days.
Well, from what I heard about Calais Campbell, a lot of people saying he looks out of shape right now. His get off is slow, but I'm not too concerned about that, man. It was day one of practice. No one gives a shit. As long as he ready week one, I could care less how he looked day one in practice. I really don't.
This season and last that extent.
And one thing I did hear was that the defense was destroying the offense the first 2 days when Tua wasn't participating. Mike White, Skylar Thompson, the other undrafted rookie quarterback they got, I think his name Drew Heisner or something like that. I forgot, but I know they was getting picked apart by the defense. They said the edge rushers had some days on the O line, which was not a good thing to hear. I get it; they're not in pads, but when you hear Emmanuel Ogba get signed off the street and he have the best day out of anyone, that's kind of worrisome because he's going up against your starting right tackle Austin Jackson, and he's killing him. But I guess so. And again, it's without pads, so gotta take it with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, the offense, from what I've read and from what I've heard, it was getting annihilated the entire practice outside of maybe a couple plays.
Man.
Wait, who did we participate in the practices with?
What, at quarterback?
No, like you said, we had like joint practices.
No, I was saying the defense has been killing the offense in practice so far.
Oh, okay. Because you said Emmanuel Ogba, he's back on the team.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know. I ain't know.
Yeah, he signed a 1 year, $2.5 million deal.
After Shaq retired.
Oh, nice.
It could go to $5 million with incentives. But yeah, he signed back. He got.
Hey, that's another thing. Why did he retire?
He wanted to be with his family.
He just lost one of his kids too.
Yeah,
so
his daughter had passed away, so
I forgot about that.
He wanted to go be with his family. I'm not upset that he retired, man. More power to him. Wish him the best when family is family. I was upset with Chris Greer though, because I'm like, how the hell you signed the dude that retired a month later? But I mean, you had no idea, no indications he was going to retire. I mean, I think that's kind of crazy. But again, I'm not going to blame anyone for that situation. Some things are just unique. They're bigger than football.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not going to blame anyone for that. But is there anything else y'all boys want to talk about or add before we end the show off with our last topic?
No. Yeah, I know what I see. Jalen Wright. Watch. Jalen Wright gonna be a dog.
What about you, Larry?
How do you feel about the situation we got now with the contract, the things and all of that? Like, where do you really see us putting most of our effort if we were to let go of Jalen Phillips? Like, what do you see us? What direction do you see us going in, and like, what position do you see that we need to be more invested in?
Well, to address the Jalen Phillips specifically, if Jalen Phillips were to walk, I just think they're gonna replace him with the guys they drafted this year. I think they're high on Muhammad Kamara and Chop Robinson. So I just think they're gonna try to see what they can get from them. Now, if we're going, if let's say, like, God forbid, let's say this next offseason, they have a clean house like they just did this past, well, not really a clean house, but they go full clean house and they let a lot of guys walk, they trade a lot of guys, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, this is a question I'm gonna pose to y'all. Because me personally, I already told y'all, if it's up to me, if this season don't work out, I think you blow the shit up. I think it's over. I think cut your ties. You feel me? Part ways with who you can part ways with. No one at that point to me is safe in any regards. If someone is calling for a player, if the deal good, you can have them. But that's how I would approach it personally, because if I'm going to keep losing my young talent each and every year, there's no point of me. You feel me? There's no point of me trying to even grow young talent anymore if you can't retain it. Then you might as well just try to go all in for a young team, rebuild it. Probably have some veteran pieces here and there that could help coach up the young talent. And then when it actually is time to pay somebody, you actually have the cap space to pay people now because you ain't got no big deals clogging up your cap space. Outside of Tua at this point, and maybe Jalen Waddle deal, but his deal wasn't monumental as some of these other deals. So outside of them two, you clear up the rest of the cap space situation, you really good. So I say I'll blow that shit up. I ain't gonna lie. If you can't retain guys like Phillips, Holland, stuff like that, and this season goes to shit again, yeah, it is what it is, bro. Let it go. It's not working. You gotta let it go.
I feel like it's just like when you say blow it up, what specifically are you like blowing up? Like, are you like trading like a Tyreek Hill? Are you trading a Bradley Chubb?
I'm trading whoever has a market. Whoever has a market and someone is calling about them and offering a good deal, they're gone. Whether that's Tyreek, whether that's Devon Achane, whether that's Raheem Mostert, whether that's Bradley Chubb, whoever. It is what it is. Like for me, because bro, again, you're not getting better with these dudes on the roster. If they're not helping you contribute to a positive winning season, it is what it is. Like, because at some point we have to prioritize actually getting better and not just falling on our face the same way we've done for the last 5 years. At some point, it has to come to that. And listen, I'm not saying you got to move on from every single play. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it would not hurt to move on from at least 2, maybe 3 of these guys. Maybe. Because then you actually get some good return for them. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like Devon Achane, though, that's kind of crazy, bro. Hey,
fuck it.
That's a crazy one right there.
They call about him and they say, look, we'll give you 2 first rounds or a first round and a second. Fuck it, you can have him. Fuck it. Listen, he a dog, he good, but hey, but at the end of the day, he come into this season, he has another injury riddled season. I don't need to see another season. I'm good. I don't need it.
Oh wow. I'm kind of shocked.
I like Achane. I think he good. I think he could be one of the 5 best running backs in the league. But at the end of the day, if we're going into this season and you injured another 8 weeks, my brother, damn, eat some damn vitamins or get the fuck off my team. Like, bro, you done played football your whole life, bro. Like, you can't go every year getting hurt.
You just have to do like the face and shit.
But so we not reached the hour mark almost though. So last thing I want to do is a would you rather like we usually do. And this time, for the sake of argument, we're gonna do a would you rather for Mike McDaniel. So it's gonna be a coaching edition. Would you rather Mike McDaniel? So first name up, Dan Campbell, y'all.
Would I rather Mike McDaniel or Dan Campbell?
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
I'm going to McDonald's.
Bless you. I'm gonna have to go with my boy McDaniel, man.
Okay.
I like Dan Campbell though. Dan Campbell, I like Dan Campbell. That was my boy. Hell, I wanted
Okay.
us to re-sign him when he was on the when he was the coach.
Okay. The next name I got for you, Shane Steichen.
Interim coach. You said who it is?
Shane Steichen, the coach for
Shane Steichen.
the coach for the Colts.
Like, I don't even know that nigga. McDaniel.
Miggy D, bro. Who is that?
I don't even know who that is, bro.
All right. Let me pull out the name that y'all do know. That boy left. I would probably exited by mistake.
Yeah, he most likely did.
Let's see if he can join back up. Give him a couple minutes, y'all. Well, let me look up some more names because I got two more in mind. I want at least one more. Yeah, but not coming back yet. Yeah, I think we're gonna just end it here then.
Damn. Where that boy Larry went. His phone probably died.
Probably did. That's probably what happened for real. But shit, we can hop on the game and just talk about it though. But that'll be it for the podcast, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in always. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Last Word Productions. Remember, I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm everywhere. Just look at the name Last Word Productions. Know anything else you want to add?
Man, well, not too much, but we're gonna get it together. I gotta be optimistic. I'm a Dolphin fan at heart, so I'm gonna be optimistic about this season. Like I said, I'm sticking with my 14 wins this season. And I'll see y'all boys on the next episode, man.
All right, but boy, be safe.
Yes, sir, y'all. Take it easy.